if the government reopens over the next couple of days, and if we bring it on over here to Poly Market just to see what the betting markets say, when will the shutdown end? You know, let's see what Poly Market has to say. So it looks as though November 16 plus. Oh my goodness. So Polymarket says that this shutdown is not going to end until the middle of November. Now that can change on a dime, but that's not good. So I'd really like to see the government reopen just so that there's another layer of uncertainty that gets removed so that things can start rallying again. Let's bring it on over to digital assets. Let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. So now that we've just reviewed the S&P, the Nasdaq, just took a look at Nvidia briefly, what do we see here on Bitcoin? So I think it's really important when we're looking at Bitcoin here at support to zoom out and think about what governments globally are going to have to do over the next 6, 12, 18 months. And that is money printer go burr. Okay. Um, in the United States, the Fed is going to effectively monetize this deficit spending, which is basically what they've been doing since 2008. In Europe, they're going to do the same thing. In China, they're doing the same thing. So globally, the largest central banks that are the most important, the Fed, the ECB, and the PBOC in China, those are the three most important central banks. You could, throw the Bank of England in there. Maybe you could think about, the Bank of Australia or the Bank of New Zealand, but the three big ones, and you could throw Japan in there too, for sure. Um, but the four big ones are the Bank of Japan, the Fed, the People's Bank of China, and the ECB, the European Central Bank. They're all doing the same thing all at once. And importantly, in Japan, the woman who was just elected to be, I think, the prime minister of Japan, she is talking about, social programs that require deficit spending. And Japan's debt to GDP is famously like the highest in the world. And there were a lot of people, and there continue to be a lot of people who use yen as a funding currency. And so if she's talking about we're going to, give our population more goodies, more free stuff, that means money printing. That means the Bank of Japan has to buy even more bonds. The Bank of Japan owns like half of the bond market in Japan, which is just crazy when you think about it. Um, so it looks as though the yields on, Japanese paper are not likely to continue ripping higher. So that means that yen carry trade that would become more profitable if long dated and short dated paper in Japan, if those yields come down, then traders can borrow in yen and buy Bitcoin, or borrow in yen and buy Nvidia, or borrow in yen and buy whatever. So it looks as though, over the next 6, 12, 18 months, there is no other option other than for these central banks to just ramp up the money printing operation again. So, what does that mean for digital assets? Well, it means number go up. So, this correction from 126 to, where we're trading now, 1099, let's call it 110, even the dip on the flash crash to 102, Bitcoin's pattern and structure is not broken. This uptrend is clearly intact. So if I'm just thinking about digital assets broadly, as long as Bitcoin's uptrend remains intact, then the bull is on. And I think it's probably just a matter of time until 126 gets taken out to the upside. Would not surprise me if Bitcoin really starts to rally. I just am not a bear here. The levels that need to be broken to the downside for me to start to become bearish on Bitcoin and digital assets, they have not been broken. The most important level is the 50-week moving average. And this level held clearly as important long-term support over the last couple of weeks. Do we go down and retest this level for a third time? Maybe. But even if we do, I'm a buyer here at 102. So I think that the trajectory for Bitcoin is up over the next 6, 12, 18 months. I think the trajectory for Bitcoin over the next 2 months is up. So I'm a bull. I remain a bull. Now, if we take a look at Ethereum, this longish term trend line support, there's a confluence here with the 50-week moving average. And Ethereum is this pattern is not as healthy as Bitcoin's pattern. So, if I had to allocate to one digital asset right now, it would be Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin is able to rally back up to 126 and print fresh all-time highs over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, it would absolutely pull altcoins up with it. And if that euphoria starts to, pick back up again, well, then that's where you would see Bitcoin dominance fall off a cliff here. Now, Ben Cowan has been prescient, calling Bitcoin dominance's direction over the last couple of years. And Ben Cowan continues to call for higher Bitcoin dominance through the end of October. And, sure, he's been right for years, so I think he'll probably continue to be right.